Hello everyone, actually in chilly London, bit of a grey day. I just wanted to give you the presentation that we gave at a conference last week in KL. So here we go. It was the Maybank Corporate Day at the Ritz-Carlton in KL. Kind of reintroducing ourselves. So we said it's been about a year since we did any presentation, about 2 years since we went on any international roadshow, and about 3 years since we had any major international investors. But we are back, trying to make BWPT great again. And a few examples of how we're back. Production is back. 2016, our annual report said new beginning, but for most of the year it was anything but. By July, production was back to 2011 levels as a result of the dry weather. But then in the third quarter, towards the end, in the fourth quarter, production jumped back up, and we actually had a record production in November. And we're back to our 15% historical growth trend. The production came back partly because of the weather, also because of our young age, of course, we're naturally growing. But we also took advantage of the slower period early in the year to improve the supervision in our plantations. And one of the things we did is these diagonals. This is a typical block in the plantation, 300 meters by 1 kilometer, with roads all around. And of course the hardest bit of the block to get to is the middle. So we put in these diagonal paths which our managers or assistants can go through on a motorbike, so they can see what's going on in the centre and help to better supervise the maintenance, the harvesting, the collection of the fruit. That's about 11 hectares. So if we can improve, let's say, 1 to 2 tons of fruit per hectare, then it would give us about 10% better EBITDA. We can look at a calculation here. If we have, let's say we've got 11 hectares times 1.5, 16.5 tons, 5,000 blocks, that's 82,000 tons of fruit. Extraction 24%, so that's the oil, multiplied by the current price, so that's about 178 billion rupiah, potentially extra. And there's a little video here, which is on our Instagram, walking through these diagonals. Hope you can see that. This is the kind of crossover of the diagonal paths. So just a small thing, but can make quite a lot of difference. EBITDA also back. And in the second quarter we produced our worst ever financial result. We actually had an operating loss. And then 2 quarters later, by the fourth quarter, when we announce it, we'll have our best ever financial result, record EBITDA. When we put this into context, historical context, of course, one of the things investors have been worried about is our merger and rights issue being very dilutive. But when you look at that, you can see no more dilution. The shares also coming back. So we are winning again. There's Brexit, Trump and BWPT winners in 2016. This is a 1-year performance of all the regional palm oil stocks, and there's BWPT, probably one of the big surprises. The balance sheet also coming back, in this case back down. By the time we started 2016, we had, as a result of all our expansion, quite high payables and very long. And it was quite tough for a lot of the year because cash flow was tight with low production. But we've managed to pay down the payables even below 2014 level. So you can start to see improvements in our balance sheet, one of the other concerns of investors. And although debt was rising in 2016, when the result comes out, I think we'll see that in the fourth quarter the debt is beginning to fall too. And this is all showing that we are really starting to make money for the first time. So during our expansion, the debt kept rising because we needed to borrow money to finance the expansion. Now we're not expanding and we're starting to make money, so paying the balance sheet back down again. Very exciting. So those are all the backs. We're also front. We were front cover of the New York Times International edition. We're joking that in the New York Times it costs $100,000 to buy a page, but Donald Trump, Sebastian Sharp, who's mentioned there, you can see, and a baby orangutan in a nappy, we get it for free. And Donald Trump was mentioned in this article as well. Whoops. Try and refocus. But what we tried to tell the New York Times was, how can we be doing deforestation? Because we're not planting. Our new planting was 0 in 2016 and very small in 2015, which is the period they're writing about. What we are doing is focusing on our existing assets, the 150,000 hectares that we have, very young age. There's a tremendous amount that we can already do with this. We're not planning on growing any more for the time being, just focusing on these. And a look at what's coming. So those are hectares and age. And what we've done is look at the hectares which are reaching more than 12 years, so they're reaching maximum yield. And that's what's going to happen over the next few years. So we are right down 2016 at this very young age. Not many hectares already reached 12 years. By 2021, 64,000 out of the 150 will have reached that age. So if you split this up, you've got 0 to 6, 7, that's the investment phase. No money, no profit. Up to 12, that's when your profit is growing, and then 12 to 18, that's the very high cash flow. So we're just entering the profit phase. Very exciting time. What's not yet back, here's our EBITDA per share again. Historically, our share price has followed very closely, but you can see it hasn't yet reflected this pickup. There's a lot of people asking about the Felder deal and how that's benefiting our shares. Well, if anything, it's holding them back. But perhaps when the deal is finalised, and it will help. Let's see. If we plug in here the Felder purchase price, now that looks a bit more like it. So hopefully room for the shares to rise. We've been joking that we have one analyst covering us at the moment. We used to have 25. So there should be plenty of upside left before you have to worry about the shares being overvalued. That's it. Please don't forget, please follow us at EH Plantations IR on Instagram, Twitter and Facebook. On Facebook, if you type in EH Plantations, you'll see the EH Plantations IR, and you can keep up to date with our updates. Bye.